news has come out this afternoon that the Kansas City Royals were in fact trying to trade for Starling Marte this offseason, as the New York Post did confirm it. Plus, a move that just corresponded with that rumor. So, we're going to break down what is going on right now in Mets world. And another pitcher who has just been signed by another team that thins up the Mets' depth possibilities to replace what is going on with our depleted pitching staff right now. And we're going to get into the reaction of it. What is going on, everybody? Welcome on in to this new edition of Mets Digest with your host, Michael DeAngelo. As you see on the screen, hope everyone's having a great night so far. We're at a little under 4,000 subscribers. We're just getting up to 3.95K. And I gotta ask that everyone please hit that subscribe button. As soon as we hit 4,000, I will be doing my next big giveaway on my Twitter. I will drop my Twitter as soon as we hit 4K and do it. I'll do a big giveaway for you guys. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell anyone. If you're at spring training, tell Mark Vientos, tell Francisco Lindor, tell whoever that this is their one-stop shop for everything Mets baseball. And so that you don't have to go through scrolling through Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever for all your Mets news. We put it all right here in one spot. Me and Flobo Boys have been on top of everything so far here in spring training. Make sure to go check out his videos as he just uploaded as well. So we're going to be filling this channel all spring training long with everything Mets news. And let's get started. So I made a video previously during the offseason about the possibility of the Kansas City Royals trading for Starling Marte. Rumors were swirling around about the possibility of that happening due to the fact that obviously Juan Soto is now a New York Met, and there's really no need for Starling Marte in right field. But with the Royals still looking for an outfielder bat, they missed out on some free agents. It was a possibility that he could be traded to the Kansas City Royals for some pitching depth. Hunter Harvey's name was thrown in there, guys like that who could just provide some extra bullpen depth. And rumors kind of then just died off later on, and it was then announced that Marte would not be traded during the offseason. But now spring training is here, and the New York Post did confirm this afternoon that Starling Marte was in fact in talks with the Kansas City Royals on being traded. This is Steve Adams, who basically broke down Joel Sherman's article from the New York Post. He said Kansas City hasn't completely closed the door on the possibility. There's no indication that talks are active, but it's nevertheless notable that the Royals are still interested to an extent. It shows that Kansas City is still weighing options to bring in an outfield bat, that they perhaps have financial flexibility, even with a player payroll that's nearly $20 million north of last year's spending levels. Remember, the Royals were in playoff contention last year. They have new ownership that's coming in, so their financial situation has been a lot better as of recent. They obviously paid Bobby Witt Jr. a big contract extension. They were looking to sign guys like Anthony Santander and Jurickson Profar, and that obviously didn't happen. So they looked at possibly trading for Starling Marte. Marte was a good option for them because the Mets were willing to pay down some of their some of his salary so that the Royals would then trade for him. And the Mets were willing to pay off a little bit, a few $1,000,000 so that the Royals would take him on. And the Mets would be getting possibly some pitching depth back in return. Guys like Hunter Harvey was pretty much the main name that was thrown around in there. And he'd be a great fit, especially right now, which we're about to get into why. But the trade deadline is not till months from now, so it could happen at any moment that Starling Marte could be traded. It may not be to the Kansas City Royals. Injuries are gonna happen. Teams are gonna need bats and outfielders at a moment's notice. And right now the Royals are one. They are still looking for a bat because they weren't able to sign one for the outfield this offseason. So Marte is an option for them. I'm sure they're going to go through spring and maybe a couple weeks through opening day and see how their lineup is panning out. And, if they think it's a little bit weak, maybe bringing Marte is a good option for them. Now, Marte obviously has had his, injury problems, and that probably concerns the Royals a little bit. They're a very young and upcoming team. They could use some veteran presence. Marte's already, 36 years old, towards the end of his career. I think he's a great fit with them, and I would hope that we would be able to find a trade target with him. Mainly because I think there's other people that should be the DH this season. As you guys know, I'm a huge Ronnie Mauricio stan. I think that he should be the DH this upcoming season, as it is just announced that he will be making his spring training debut pretty soon. We don't know exactly yet, but between the likes of him and Jesse Winker, who will be probably, going through the DHs this year, Marte remains our number one option when it comes to that position. But hopefully we were able to move him on so that he can get a bigger role somewhere else. And, it's the final year of his contract, so he's a pending free agent anyway. So that is all on that part. But a corresponding move that is coming with that, we talked about Hunter Harvey being the possible main piece of a trade like that. Maybe some pitching prospects. Who knows? We placed right-hander Sean Reid-Foley on outright waivers. It's a step towards removing him from the 40-man roster, but it leaves him exposed to be claimed by another team. He missed much of last season due to shoulder issues. Look, Sean Reid-Foley is known as like a long reliever. Obviously now with guys like Griffin Canning and Jose Buto, who can, come out of the bullpen and pitch multiple innings, the need for Sean Reid-Foley is really no longer there. But that clears up a major league roster spot. So if you were to trade a guy like Starling Marte for, Hunter Harvey, maybe someone else, or that leaves a spot open in your bullpen for a guy like that, and he fits in perfectly. So maybe we could see a trade coming before the end of spring training. Who knows? I'm just speculating here, and it's just my job to present you guys the news and what's going on, and to break it down from there. But Sean Reid-Foley, it could be claimed by another team right now. Obviously, with the amount of bullpen depth and pitchers that we've signed. Obviously, my last video, we signed Jose Urena to a minor league contract. He's a guy that could come out of the bullpen and pitch multiple innings and be up in that starting rotation. Sean Reid-Foley is a guy that's kind of struggled when he starts. So, I think David Stearns is looking for guys that can bounce back between the rotation and the bullpen. But moving on from that, the second thing, as you guys may have heard, Jose Quintana has been signed by the Milwaukee Brewers to a 1-year, $4.25 million contract. So, that leaves the possibility of him being brought back for some more starting pitching depth out the window. We thought that with Sean Manaea being hurt, Frankie Montas being hurt, that maybe a reunion with Jose Quintana was possible, and it just goes to show that it is not possible, as he will be with the Milwaukee Brewers this season. And it's not really it's not really bitter at all. I mean, he provided some great innings, but at this point in his career, he's an easily replaceable pitcher. We have guys coming up who are, going pretty well in spring so far. Guys like Clay Holmes, who has showed out pretty well. Brandon Sproat, who had a great debut. He pitched 2 scoreless innings. And, it's just time to move on. And I knew signing Jose Quintana was nowhere near a big possibility. So that is all I have for you guys here today on Mets Digest. Make sure you guys leave a comment down below what you guys think about all this. Should the Mets end up trading Starling Marte? I think so, because I want guys to have a chance at a DH. I want the younger guys to have a chance at a DH spot. And fill up and be able to have a roster spot open for some of the younger guys. But that's just my opinion. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about all of this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everybody.